I mean, he didn't have any wish of his own. He will wear what the master will give him to wear. He will eat what the master will give him to eat. He will drink what the master will give him to drink. He will go to the places where the master will ask him to go. That's the reality of a slave. So we are all slaves of Allah. But we don't have any wish of our own. We don't have any will of our own. We are all run by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we know who we are, then, and when we know who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, then how can a human being ever sin? How can a human being ever disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The problem is, the reason that we disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that we have yet not realized our status in front of Allah. This is our problem. We have yet not realized who we are. So human being, he disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for different reasons. And one of the reasons is that, as I said, he doesn't realize who he is and who is Allah. And sometimes people do realize that who they are. People do realize that they are slaves of Allah, but that environment around them, that forces them to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We call it, quote unquote, peer pressure. Right? We are so committed, we go to the gatherings, we hear the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We get so motivated, this is I'm going to change my life. But then they go back into the environment that they're in, and suddenly, all what goes in, it comes out. This is one of the biggest things. People want to change. People want to live their life for Allah. People realize who they are. But then this environment factor is so strong that it forces people to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this concept of suhbah, the concept of company, concept of companionship is very strong in human life. Is extremely strong in human life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has created human beings in a way that they get affected by the people around them, by the things around them. This is a very common thing. That's why all the Prophets ﷺ, they have been forced into grazing the sheep before they were given the crown of prophethood. Why is that? Because sheep are humble creation of Allah. And when you remain with the humble creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you also learn humbleness. Every single prophet that came, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored them with the crown of prophethood, all of them were shepherds. And this is the wisdom behind that, because they learn humbleness by being with the sheep. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a human being, that they are affected by the environment around them. That's why Prophet ﷺ said that al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi, that a person is on the deen of his friend. And that's why Prophet ﷺ said that you make sure that you choose who do you sit with. You make sure you choose who do you sit with. Because, and he gave an example. He said that if you go and be with a perfume seller, right, if you choose your friend to be a perfume seller, then if you go and sit with him, there will be two things that can happen. One is that possibly he will give you a perfume as a gift, right? Or if he doesn't do that, at least when you go and sit with him, you will feel the environment of perfume. You will smell the good smell of the perfume. And if you take a goldsmith, or what do you call it? Silversmith. Whoever, the person who deals with fire. If you go and sit with him, there can be two things that can happen. One is that either the fire may come and burn your clothes, and if it doesn't come and burn your clothes, the second thing that can happen is that you will feel the warmth of the fire. You will feel that there is fire around. So everything has an effect. That's why Prophet ﷺ, he said that you make sure that you know who your company is. You make sure that you are amongst good people, because this is what's going to affect you, because this is the peer pressure that you will have that may force you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And if we really make an effort to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to live a life of taqwa, if we really want that we dedicate our life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we need to also make sure that we choose good people around us. Because otherwise, it is almost impossible. It is almost impossible that you can remain on the right path. You can remain steadfast. It is almost impossible. See, there are different kinds of people. When you choose a company of good people, then initially what happens is that you come into the company, you feel good about it, you get all of this energy, you get all of this nur that you extract from the good people, you have all of this jazba, you have all of this, strength within you. You want to go back and you want to be good people, but as soon as you go back, boom, gone. Right? I mean, again, you're sitting in front of your TV screen, you're watching movies, you're watching, surfing channels, you're browsing internet. The second type of people. They come into the company, they sit, and eventually after sitting for a long time, they get that nur, and that nur gets absorbed a little bit deeper into their hearts, and then they go back and that nur remains with them for some time. For a day, for 2, for 3, for 4, for 5, for a week, and then slowly it gradually drains, and then there's again the same people as they were. But then in a week's time, they again make sure that they absorb the nur again, and then they go back on track. Right? So this is the second type of people. The third type of people is that when they get that nur, just move a little forward, please. The third type of people are that who go sit in the company, get that nur, absorb that, and they absorb it so deep that eventually what happens is that this heart of theirs, that becomes the source of light. Now that this heart is like a lamp, right? So basically you take a candle, you take it to the lamp that's burning, and you take it to the in blowing wind outside, right? As soon as you take it to the blowing wind outside, it's going to extinguish like that, right? And there is a second type of people. You may burn your candle, and protect it, slow, and you walk slowly, gradually, very cautiously, and you may be able to save that light for some time. But then eventually, it's going to blow away as well. And then their third type. What you do is you really bring a strong lamp, and you burn your lamp, and that's such a strong lamp that it has a glass covering and everything, and you take it to wherever and it will keep burning. And now that it's not only going to keep burning, but it's also going to help others to burn their candles or their lamps. This is third type of people. So everybody is different. Everybody is different. But the thing is that when people are at the first stage or the second stage, when they burn their lamps by going in the right companies, and then they go out, and if they don't protect that, then it's going to extinguish very, very soon. Right? And these blowing winds are those negative companies. And shaitan and nafs. All of these, they blow so strongly that it extinguishes your lamp so quickly. And that is our problem. So at least what we can do is we have to work on all these three factors. But one of the factors that I want to talk about today is this one factor, which is your company, the negative company. This negative company is extremely dangerous thing. Extremely dangerous thing. Because whatever you get, when you go into that negative company, and then you are again on the same old filthy path that we were all on. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created human beings. That is why that hadith, this famous hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that a person who had killed 99 people, right, he came to really, suddenly Allah ta'ala gave him tawfiq, then he realized, I've been doing a bad thing. I've been like murdering people all my life, what a pathetic thing to do. He went to an abid, a worshipper. He went to him and said, will Allah ta'ala forgive me? Ever? Because I've killed 99 people. He said, how can Allah ta'ala forgive you? 99 people killing? He said, sorry, but you have done something that you cannot be forgiven by Allah. So he said, what difference does it make if I kill 99 or 100? And he killed him as well. So then he again realized after some time, then he went to a scholar, an alim. He said, will Allah ta'ala forgive me? I've killed 100 people. He said, Allah ta'ala is forgiving. He's merciful. Why not? But the thing is, you have to do true tawbah. And one of the factors in doing true tawbah is that you have to leave this place. The problem with you is that you have this thing because it came into you before as well, that you didn't want to, you suddenly thought, I've killed 99. Problem with you is that you're in a bad company. The environment around you is bad. This is your problem. So you leave this town and go to another town where righteous people live, and when you will be in that company, then you will not be able to come back to the same old life. So go. And the story moves on. Right? And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took his soul away, and and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreased the distance between the good place and him, and the good angel, he took his soul away. But the point is that this is company. The bad company forces us to do bad things, to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Suddenly, we realize we are slaves of Allah, but when we are in that company, the way that Allah ta'ala has created us, we totally forget. Absolutely forget the fact that we are the slaves of Allah. That's why we have to eliminate this factor. We have to eliminate this factor from our lives. We are slaves of Allah. We have come from Allah. We are going back to Allah. Then what's the point of keeping a bad company? The company is something, your friends, I'm talking about your friends especially. Friends are something that people choose. They're not family members. So why do we have to choose people who distract us from the path of Allah? Why? Why cannot we leave them? What's stopping us from leaving them? Are they better or Allah? What's our goal in our life? We are all going into our graves. Every single one of us is going into our graves. Will those friends, so-called friends, save us in our graves? Will those friends, our so-called friends, are going to save us on the Day of Judgment? Why cannot we leave them? Why? This is a question that we all need to ask ourselves. Oh, I want to do hijab, but what will my friends say? Oh, I want to grow a beard, but my friends will think that I have become an extremist. So what? Let them say what they have to say. If they want to leave you, then leave. Let them leave you. So what? Allah Ta'ala will inshallah give them somebody who's better. But this is a problem. Somebody met me on the mall the other day, I went to do something, and I was just standing there waiting for somebody, and somebody came to me, a very close, person that, I know very well. He came to me, said salam, I said, walaikum salam, what are you doing in a mall? Oh, I'm just going to a movie. I said, what? I was in shock. Literally, because I never thought that he can go to a movie. He said, what? Oh, my friends are there waiting for me. I said, your friends are waiting? I said, I just reminded him. I said, what do you think? What if you have a heart attack watching that movie? Do you want to die in that state? I'll just go in and out, with my friends. And I wanted to say to him, they're not your friends, they're your enemies. They look like friends, they're your enemies. They are dragging you to the hellfire. Have you realized that? How can they be your friends? If there's anybody who is dragging you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is literally your enemy. He is your enemy. He is not your friend. Friends are the people who are your well-wishers, who think good about you. And the best thing that anybody can think about you is the thing of the hereafter. That can take you to paradise. That can help you resting in your graves, not getting punishment in your graves. So how can they be your friends? And then really think about it. I mean, when we take these people as our quote-unquote friends, then what sort of hypocrisy is that? Every single day of our life, in the witr prayers, in Isha, we promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, standing in front of Him, we say, what do we say? Allahumma inna nasta'inuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika wa natawakkalu alayka. Then وَنُثْنِي عَلَيْكَ الْخَيْرَ وَنَشْكُرُكَ وَلَا نَكْفُرُكَ. We are grateful to you. We are not ungrateful to you. وَنَخْلَعُ وَنَتْرُكُ مَنْ يَفْجُرُكَ. Ya Allah, we have left those people. We have cut our ties off from those people who disobey you, Ya Allah. What sort of hypocrisy is that? Saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every single night, Ya Allah, we have cut ourselves off from those people who disobey you, Ya Allah. Lying in front of, on the face of Allah, standing in front of Him and saying, Ya Allah, we have cut our ties off, and then we go to watch a movie the very same night with our friends. What is that? We do not want these people in our lives who can take us away from the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not. I mean, if you want to come, join the path, welcome, inshallah we are all together. But if you want me to be doing something that can displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm sorry, but I cannot be with you, sorry. I cannot. Why can't we be bold enough? Why can't we be strong enough? I'm not saying be rude at their faces, but at least, be strong enough. If they are so strong that they don't feel bad about dragging you to the cinema hall, why cannot you be brave enough to tell them, but sorry, this is something that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's all not go to the movie. Let's do something else. Let's sit in somebody's lawn and let's drink coffee, let's drink tea, let's talk about something good. Why can't we do that? If you want entertainment, I'm not saying don't be with your friends, be with your friends, but why not do something that's good? They can be bold in disobeying Allah, and we are so weak in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? What's the problem? You have to ask this question. That means that we have yet not realized who we are. Who is Allah? What's our purpose of life? What's our goal? Where are we going? We are all dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that we are breathing and seeing and listening and talking and smelling and walking and having strength is all from Allah. The food that we eat, the air that we breathe in, it's all from Allah. The fruits that we enjoy, the houses that we live in, this air conditioner, this beautiful weather outside, it's all from Allah. And yet we disobey Allah. And we prefer those people over Allah. Why is that? This is the question that we all need to ask ourselves. We give them priority. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us that we leave them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَعْرِضْ عَمَّنْ تَوَلَّى عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَلَمْ يُرِدْ إِلَّا الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. That turn yourself away from that person who turns away from our advice, from our obedience. That's an order of Allah Ta'ala. You cut yourself off from those people who disobey me. وَلَمْ يُرِدْ إِلَّا الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. All what they want is this dunya. They have nothing to do with the hereafter. If they had anything to do with the hereafter, then they would not have been doing that what they're doing. They want to enjoy. What is that enjoyment of this dunya? We are after the enjoyment of the hereafter. لا عيش إلا عيش الآخرة إلا عيش الآخرة. There is no enjoyment except the enjoyment of the hereafter. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us like some glimpses of paradise. Then you will get this in paradise and that in paradise. Why? So that you all what your nafs desires, that it likes, don't worry, it's there. I'm not depriving you of that, but you just have to wait for a few days. That's all what you need to do. Wait a little bit. It's a test. You have to just pass this exam, and then you will be given the reward, a trophy. But you have to wait. Or if you want to fail this, that's fine. Then there's nothing stored for you. But then that means that you're the people of this dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَعَارِدْ أَمَّنْ تَوَلَّى عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَلَمْ يُرِدْ إِلَّا الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. That you just turn yourself away from those people who are deprived or who turns away from our obedience, from our advice. And all what they want is the excitement, the enjoyment of this dunya, this world, this life. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ لِيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسَاءُوا بِمَا عَمِلُوا وَيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا بِالْحُسْنَى. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs everything that is in the heavens and in the earth, so that He gives punishment to the people who do wrong. This is a test. If people fail this test, if people remain the people of dunya, then at the end of the day, there is nothing stored for them in the hereafter. All what's stored for them is the punishment. وَيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا بِالْحُسْنَى. But if we remain strong, if we realize who we are, if we are strong in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we feel proud of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we are able to cut off anything that stops us from obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah ta'ala says that for the people who do good, there is a good reward for them. Who are those people? الَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ إِلَّا اللَّمَمَ. That these are the people who stay away from all the kabiras, all the major sins, وَالْفَوَاحِشَ, and all the indecent things, immoral things. Does it mean that people can do saghiras, the minor sins? No. Minor sins is just that people can slip. Sometimes, if people do minor things knowingly, with their own will, and they remain steadfast on that, that also becomes a major sin. That's a definition of a major sin as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that there are people we can slip, but when people slip, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and people who slip and right away do tawbah and come back to me, I will not punish them. الَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ الْكَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ إِلَّا اللَّمَمَ. Except those people who slip and then turn back. إِنَّ رَبَّكَ وَاسِعُ الْمَغْفِرَةِ. Your Lord is indeed, He is vast in forgiving people. But you have to be these sort of people who stay away from any indecent things, immoral things, from any major sins, and that includes being consistent in any minor sins. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you cannot hide from Allah. When you go and you just try to run away and do all of these things with your friends, you can hide from your families, from your wives, from your husbands, from your children, from your parents. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you cannot hide from me. هو أعلم بكم إذ أنشأكم من الأرض. He knows you more than anyone else. And from the time when He created you from the earth. وَإِذْ أَنْتُمْ أَجِنَّةٌ فِي بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ. Even from that time when you were embryos in the wombs of your mothers. Even knows you didn't even know yourself at that time. Allah Ta'ala knew who you were. This is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's power of knowing. He is Al-Alim. He is all-knowing. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Don't any of you claim that you are righteous people. He knows you more than anybody else. هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. He knows who is a person of taqwa. You don't have to go and show people or claim that you are a person of taqwa. Allah Ta'ala knows. Be sincere. Do things for the sake of Allah. Be strong in obeying Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and then Allah Ta'ala is the one who gives reward to people. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala reminds people over and over and over and over again that, know about your reality. Know about your reality. It's not about, just being with friends who drag you away. It's all about obeying Allah Ta'ala. It's all about passing this test. أَمْ لَمْ يُنَبَّأْ بِمَا فِي صُحُفِ مُوسَى وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Has he not been told of what was revealed in the scriptures of Musa alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, who fulfill his duties? أَلَّا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Nobody will bear anybody's burden on that day. Nobody. Your friend is not going to bear, to take your burden on that day. Today he drags you to do all of those things, talk all of those, indecent, immoral things, to watch all those immoral, indecent things, talk about all of those immoral, indecent things, and you do it, on the day of judgment He's not going to take your burden. You are going to carry your own burden. He is not going to help you on that day. Allah taziru waziratun wizra ukhra. Nobody will bear the burden of anybody else. وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. And a man will only deserve the reward of his own effort. And you're not going to, some people claim, my uncle and my aunt and my grandfather was a very righteous person. Well, what they did, they did. You will get what you get. Nobody is going to bear your burden, and also you're not going to get the reward of anybody as well. All of us are in a place of test, and every single one of us will be held accountable on the day of judgment for what we do. وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. And everybody's effort will be seen on that day. ثُمَّ يُجْزَاهُ الْجَزَاءَ الْأَوْفَى. And everybody will be recompensed in full on that day. وَأَنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى. And your goal is your Lord. Allah is your goal. All these petty things of this dunya are not your goal. When you try to enjoy, quote unquote, with your friends, that's not your goal. Your goal is Allah. Think about something else. You should be strong enough to say no. وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَضْحَكَ وَأَبْكَى. And He is the one who makes you laugh. He is the one who makes you weep. وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَمَاتَ وَأَحْيَا. He is the one who gives death. He is the one who gives life. Did you forget? وَأَنَّهُ خَلَقَ الزَّوْجَيْنِ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. He is the one who created people in pairs, in male and female. مِن نُطْفَةٍ إِذَا تُمْنَى. From the dirty fluid that you poured. وَأَنَّ عَلَيْهِ النَّشْأَةَ الْأُخْرَى. And the second creation in the hereafter will be also done by him. وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَغْنَى وَأَقْنَى. He is the one who gives your wealth. When you spend this money in buying those movie tickets, where did you get this money from? Allah. And you're spending it in these filthy acts. And remember that if you remain in doing what you're doing and you remain giving priority to your friends, then remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his grasp is very strong. His punishment is very severe. He can hold people whenever. وَأَنَّهُ أَهْلَكَ عَادًا الْأُولَى. Remember Ad? He destroyed those people. وَثَمُودَ فَمَا أَبْقَى. And the Thamud, he did not spare anybody. وَقَوْمَ نُوحٍ مِّن قَبْلُ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا هُمْ أَظْلَمَ وَأَطْغَى. And the Nuh alayhi salam's qawm, his nation, they were oppressors. They were the ones who were rebellious. Allah Ta'ala also destroyed them. وَالْمُؤْتَفِكَةَ أَهْوَى. And He destroyed the towns of the people of Lut alayhi salam as well. فَغَشَّاهَا مَا غَشَّا. And He enveloped them in what He enveloped. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكَ تَتَمَارَى. And which of your Lord's bounties will you remain in doubt? Think about who you are. It's Quran. عظيم الشان. هذا نذير من النذر الأولى. Allah Ta'ala is giving you warning from the previous warnings. أفمن هذا الحديث تعجبون. You're reading this Quran and you are you're wondering at what is this Quran, these words. We read them every day or every other day or once in a while, or we listen to them every day in the prayers. But we don't even think about what it is, and you are so wondrous as to what are this. These are not stories, it's true. This is haqq. أَفَمِنْ هَذِا الْحَدِيثِ تَعْجَبُونَ. Why are you so wondrous at these words? وَتَضْحَكُونَ وَلَا تَبْكُونَ. You just laugh. Why don't you cry? You should all be crying. Literally what we do, we should be crying. We should not be laughing, listening to all those indecent, immoral jokes that we laugh at. And watching all of what we watch at or look at. We should be crying. Shouldn't be smiling or joking. Or laughing. Why are you so wondrous? This is all true. أَفَمِنْ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ تَعْجَبُونَ وَتَضْحَكُونَ وَلَا تَبْكُونَ. Why don't you cry? وَأَنْتُمْ سَامِدُونَ. And you are so much into all of this evil play. And Mufassirin said that means songs. When you put all of your CDs in your car, stereo players and all wherever you put in your iPods and whatever, these new devices. Why don't you cry listening to those? Why do you smile? وَتَضْحَكُونَ وَلَا تَبْكُونَ وَأَنْتُمْ سَامِدُونَ. You're watching those movies and listening to those songs and you're laughing and enjoying and smiling. You should be crying. That's what Allah Ta'ala is saying. This is the reality, my friends. And one of the reasons is these friends, so-called. We have to make a decision in our lives. Because if we continue doing what we are doing, this is not what the purpose of our life is. And Allah Ta'ala says that on that day, the day of judgment, one of the reasons that people will be dragged into the fire will be these friends, who drag you to do all of these disobedience of Allah Ta'ala, into indecent things and immoral things. These will be the people who will drag you into the hellfire. Al-mulku yawma idhin al-haqqu lir-Rahman. That day of judgment is true. وَكَانَ يَوْمٌ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ عَسِيرًا. The people who are ungrateful, that will be very difficult for those people. That day will be very difficult for those people. وَيَوْمَ يَعَدُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. And on that day, the evildoers, the sinners, the people who disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bite his hand in despair. يَوْمَ يَعَدُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. He'll bite in despair. Oh my God, what did I do in my life? What I've been doing? Why didn't I realize what the purpose of my life was? يَقُولُ, they will say, يَا لَيْتَنِي. Oh my God. Oh, اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا. I wish that I would have done what my Prophet brought to me. I wish that I had followed the sunnah of my Prophet. I wish that I had followed the path of my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what they will say on the Day of Judgment, but that will be too late. Ya waylata, oh laytani, woe to me. Lam attakhiz fulanan khalila. I wish that I had not taken that person as my friend. لَقَدْ أَضَلَّنِي عَنِ الذِّكْرِ. He was the one who led me astray from the remembrance of Allah. He was the one who dragged me to all of these cinema halls. He was the one who invited me to all those weekend nights, and all night we were talking about indecent, immoral things. Bad jokes, lying, going around, watching belly dancing in your desert safaris, not praying, so much indulged into all of these things. How can I do this? My friend will leave me. So if we want to this Quran, if we want to have this ending, then continue doing what we're doing. But if we want to have anything in the hereafter, then we have to make sure that we are out of this environment that we are in. We have to make a decision, my friends. You have to make sure that we are amongst people who remind us of Allah. And if there is anybody who does not remind us of Allah, and he distracts us from Allah, then Ya Allah, wa nakhla'u wa natruku man yafjuruk. We leave them, we cut off our ties from anybody, Ya Allah, who disobey you. And we make this promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every single night in our witr prayers. And we have to keep up with this promise with Allah. This is exactly that man ahabba lillahi wa abghada lillahi wa a'ta lillahi wa mana'a lillahi faqad istakmal al-iman. The people who love for the sake of Allah and who hate for the sake of Allah and who give for the sake of Allah and who withhold for the sake of Allah, they have completed their iman. This is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does it mean, hating for the sake of Allah? That means that anybody who is disobeying and who wants me to disobey Allah, I hate that thing. And because this is for Allah, I'm not hating that person. I'm hating this thing that he is doing, this very fact that he is disobeying himself and he also dragging me into disobedience. I hate this thing. You do tawbah today, I love you for the sake of Allah. I don't hate you. I hate this very fact that you disobey Allah. And you become obedient to Allah, I love you right now. You will be my best friend. But you have to come to my path, I cannot come to yours. I'm sorry. And we have to make this decision, we have to be strong. It's so amazing, I'm talking about friends, but also families. People are so shy. People, Allah Ta'ala gives them tawfiq, the sisters start doing hijab, how will I face my family? Well, they are so strong, as I said in the beginning, in doing bad things, they're so proud of it. Why cannot you be proud of obeying Allah? What is wrong with you? You start praying in the masjid, You have grown your beards, and you're so afraid to see your families the next time you go to your families. Why? Why can't you be strong? Why can't you just say, yeah, but this is what I have to do. This is for Allah. Why can't you be strong? What will they do to you? They will cut off their ties? Believe me, if it's family, they will not cut off their ties. I can guarantee you this. I can write it down for you. They may not speak with you for a day, for two, for three, for a week, for a month. They will come back. And if they're friends, they don't want to talk to you. Thank you very much. I don't want to talk to you as well. Unless you come on the obedience of Allah. You have to follow the path of Allah. I cannot follow the path of shaitan. Why can't we be strong? What's wrong with us? What's the problem? So we have to realize, my friends, we have to realize the purpose of our life. We have to know where are we going. We have to know why we're here. And we have to make a decision before our death. And the death is coming very soon. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We don't know. Allah knows. But the thing is that we have to do tawbah right now. And we have to make a decision right now. And we have to make sure that we are in the right environment, so that they do not distract us from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.